kat wil nie saam speel nie.
Can't we have to show off your whiskers?
Goeie laatmiddag en welkom nog 'n keer Kwarantynwyn in die tuin saam met Elaine. So for today, something a little bit different, something a little bit almost want to say scarce because it's still basically brand new. This is, the wine is called the Snor.
The cat's whiskers.
And literally the name, the cat's whiskers, is like the bee's knees. It's the business, the shit.
Yes. The frog's
eyeballs. What was that?
eyebrows. Frog's eyebrows.
Ah, can't do it. So many things. And funny enough, what Elaine said to me earlier was that the cat's whiskers, or that saying, actually comes from the 1920s.
1920s. Yes, there was a time where there were a lot of phrases dedicated to talking about something that was particularly awesome. You know, like the best of the best. Which makes sense, you know, the bee's knees, the cat's whiskers, that kind of thing.
Frog's eyebrows, I don't really understand that one, but still. So the Snor, or the cat's whiskers as it's called, is, funny enough, in reference to the winemaker Gerhard Smith. His grandfather's nickname was Kat, and he apparently had a quite prominent moustache as well. So to Kat, we'll drink this glassy to you.
This is to you, yes.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Gerhard Smith is a winemaker. Funnily enough, also grew up here in our valley here in the northern suburbs. Matriculated from DF Milan, which was my arch rival in high school. And he traveled a little bit overseas. Didn't come from a winemaking family. Comes from a family of more doctors, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
and
yes, that's true.
Actually did a few harvests in New Zealand and fell in love with Pinot Noir, the New World style of Pinot Noir, that little bit more bright fruit and so forth. And came back to South Africa and started making wine over here. He did study at Stellenbosch. And then, yes.
But he also said that what he liked was that, you know, he's combining his love for wine and his science background. I found that very interesting.
Because, yeah, it's...
Because if you're coming from a family of doctors, and then to decide that you want to do winemaking, you're still going to have that heavy science influence.
Yeah,
and he said he discovered winery from his grandmother, right?
Distant somewhere, there's some heritage apparently.
Okay.
So not only is wine an art, wine is also a science, because there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, inside the bottles, inside the tanks.
Absolutely, it's not just squashing grapes and having alcohol.
So Gerhard said he learned his chops, I think, at Lanzarote first.
Yes.
Ended up at Lavier in Hermanus, and then now since 2018 has been the winemaker, assistant winemaker with JC Martin at Creation Wine Estate, right on top of the Himmel and Arde Ridge.
Yeah.
And luckily they allow him to make a little bit of wine for himself as well, because most wine estates won't really allow a winemaker just to make something on its side. It sort of can take away the thunder or the shine from the wine estate itself. So thank you, JC, for allowing Gerhard to play around a little bit in the cellar. Now this Pinot Noir is from a small block past, if you go, we'll show it on the map as well, the Himmel and Arde region, in basically just before Hermanus, all the way running up from Sandby to Caledon. Now if you go all the way, you get the Himmel and Arde Valley, Himmel and Arde Ridge, and then past the Himmel and Arde Ridge, about 3 kilometers basically past Creation, you get this little parcel opposite the winery of Seven Springs. And this parcel of Pinot Noir is also known as the Kerkzaal block, or Church Hall, if it's called that again. It's planted to 2 clones of Pinot Noir, 115 and 777. Now that's for the wine geeks out there. They do give different flavor profiles. We won't go into too much detail of that. We're here to drink and taste the wine. Now the wine itself is hand-picked, 30% whole bunch fermented, soaked, cold soaked as well, and then pressed, and then they allow for natural fermentation to happen. So no additives, no extra added yeast or enzymes to help.
And it's actually a vegan friendly wine.
Because of that, because there's no filtration and no fining, no isinglass or egg whites used to filter out the wine then basically becomes vegan.
Tell me about punch downs. Now this was like a lingo word
so
that I learned.
During fermentation, Gerhard and them do punch downs twice every 2 days, I think. I speak under correction, I think it's every 2 days. And punch downs is basically what happens is during fermentation, the juice and the skins are all, but the skins will all rise to the top. And basically, to extract some more flavor and color from the skins, you would use a paddle, or you can do it mechanically, but he's quite a small producer. They still have like wood panels, and they just push the skins back into the juice just to extract more flavor and more, a little bit of tannin, a little bit of flavor, a little bit of color from that. It also tends to flesh out the wine itself, because Pinot Noir is an extremely delicate wine. It's extremely temperamental. It's thin-skinned. You hurt its feelings by looking at it wrong, whether it be in the vineyard or in the bottle or in the glass sometimes. So yeah, you need to treat the lady with respect.
Kind of like me.
So after fermentation, the wine is left on the skins for another 5 days or so, and then unfiltered, unfined into older barrels for a minimum of 10 months before it finally gets bottled. And we are sitting here with the 2016 vintage. Thanks to Gerhard for bringing us a bottle of this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we feel very honored to be tasting this, to be honest.
But yeah, so let's actually start talking about the wine and not just everything behind the wine. So
I get a strong cherry, definitely cranberry. And what I like about it, for me particularly, is that I really like the peppery taste.
There is a nice pepperiness to it as well. But this wine is beautiful and delicate. There is a bit of a, how can I say, there's a richness to the mid palate that gives a very fine tannin, but it's quite fruit forward. It's delicious. It's 4 years old now, so with Himmel and Aarde Pinots you can age it for a lot longer because of that beautiful cool climate they have there. But this wine is well made. You can see that there was a lot of care in this, and I think also the fact that it's unfiltered and unfined, you retain a beautiful weight in the middle of the wine, which you can lose quite easily if you filter it too hard.
But Gerhard he's all about timing, hey? That's one thing that I do know about him, is that he's all about timing, like when to pick.
Yeah, no, it is. You know? He's a I think definitely a winemaker to look out for.
Yes.
It's a very small production. There's 4 barrels of this being made every year at the moment, so that relates to 1,200 bottles.
Hence why we feel so lucky.
1,199 left after this. Well, probably people had some before us. And to be quite honest, it's one of those, I almost want to say it falls almost under one of those geeky wines. You find it in like specialty wine shops here and there on a slightly more serious wine list. And to be quite honest, I saw a few bottles at the Boer and Butcher today in Durbanville. So which is, I was quite impressed when I saw their wine collection there today. So
yes, definitely a shelf you want to be on, hey?
So to the guys up there in the Himmel and Aarde Valley Ridge,
we miss you, and we're going to see you
we'll see you guys soon.
Yes.
Gerhard, thank you very much for the wine. Please, this is the cat's whiskers, definitely.
Absolutely. The bee's knees, the cat's whiskers.
And while we are still in some form of lockdown, level 2, with restricted wine selling hours, buy some, support the South African wine industry, and stay safe.
Stay safe.
Cheers.
Cheers.